Thank you for having me here today. I'm here to talk about web analytics and measuring what your users actually is doing online. It's not as special as brain surgery and then measuring, but it's about what the users actually are doing on your website. And besides started this website, webanalytica.dk, it's actually just my blog. So half a year ago, I started a new company together with my colleague called WebJuice, and I'm working as a consultant in optimizing websites for our customers. Matas is one of our big customers. We are doing all of their online marketing for them on the search engines, not the banners, etc. But today you're going to hear about web analytics. I'm not used to not have my slides behind me, so if I start pointing, don't just look on the sides here. So, but web analytics. The purpose of web analytics is to track your users' behavior, and it's about what they actually are doing on your website. You can also ask them why they did what they did, and then you can test your website. And when you measure everything, you know exactly what works and what does not work. I think the web shops are it's the easiest web pages to test, and because you have a very clear goal, you want to sell more. And there are two main purposes of doing web analytics. One of them is to measure all your return on investment. When Biver, he just said that you waste 50% of all your marketing, and I think that's a waste. Why don't minimize that to maybe 5 or 10%, or not lose anything at all? You're not able to do that because you measure. But when you measure, you know next time what worked and what did not work, and in that way you can optimize it every day and start only using the traffic sources and the channels which actually give you some profit. And the next purpose of using web analytics is to optimize your website. One thing is to pay for getting the traffic inside your website, but you also have to optimize the conversion rate. A conversion rate could be the amount of users who does on the website what you want them to do, like buy a product. So there are many different web analytics tools, and this is just some of them. Google Analytics, I think that's the absolutely most well known and most used in Denmark, and it's for free. So actually, in that way, there's no reason not to use it. And then there's other tools as well, and some of them are not. They're not equal. You can't compare them like to grocery stores. It's more like cars. There are different purposes. Maybe you want a big car because you have a big family, and sometimes it's better to have a small car because it's more. It's cheaper per kilometer or something like that. For the beginning, you should know what your KPIs are, your key performance indicators. What do you want to measure? What do you want the users to do on your website? And it can be different things that you want the users to do. It could be downloading some product brochures. I know the one who have made this arrangement also have some QR codes, and they could measure how many are using these QR codes and actually downloading what they have on their website. It could also be that you want the people to contact you using the mail to link. It could be a sign up for an RSS feed, or it could be a sign up for a newsletter to have the contact like Henriette spoke about involvement and this continuously dialogue with the customers. And it could also be just a normal contact, and of course it could be about selling something. KPIs could also be about having a one goal for how much traffic you get into your website. But these goals are, you can say, it's valuable goals, and they can all be measured in a tool like Google Analytics. And then you have to make sure that you track all your campaigns. It doesn't matter if you use a link on Twitter or Facebook or in the newsletter or a normal banner campaign, all the QR codes. You're actually able with the tools we have today. You're able to track everything the users are doing online. I think it's a fantastic world when it comes to measure. I'm very impressed of this brain measuring, because that's of course very advanced measuring. And there's also some challenges when it comes to offline measuring, but it's still possible to make different things, measuring advertising in newspapers and etc. And when you measure these campaigns, you are able to know exactly what's the return on investment. Also, a lot of companies uses Google AdWords advertising, where you just pay per click. And when you pay per click, you should of course only pay for these clicks who actually give you value. And this slide looks a bit funny, but I want to show you just 4 different metrics, which are the 4 most important when you work with web analytics. And the most important, I think, it's the bounce rate. And it's very easy to work with for you if you should keep it simple and just focus on one thing. The bounce rate is a metric telling how many of the visitors came to your website, only see the first page, and then leave the website again. Avinash, a famous American web analyst, he called it, they came, they puked, they left. And it's quite good saying the problems here, because of course, if they only see this one page, they're not able to do what you want them to do. They cannot buy anything, or they cannot read more about your products and then take contact to you, because they've only seen this first landing page. So if you're reaching around 40 or 60%, it's a quite big problem. It's more than half of your visits just come and leave again, and that's of course a thing you should work on. And the next 3 important metrics, it's visitors, visits, and page views. Where visitors, you can think that as how many people are actually visiting your website. Visits is telling about how many times are someone visiting your website. And like if you had a physical store, you can say visitors are the amount of different people who come inside, and visits is how many times has someone entered your shop. And then the page views is just telling you how many pages are seen in total. And with this metrics, you're actually able to begin analyzing your users' behavior. So I'm gonna show you a couple of screenshots from a web analytics tool. And this is all from Google Analytics. And the most important, I think, is to get a good overview of where your traffic is coming from. And with this overview, you know which sources are good and which are not that good. And it's very easy to see the organic, how many visits came from the organic search in Google, how many came directly, how many actually knew your website that good, so they came directly. Of course, this part is largely for a company like TDC. You're able to spell that it is spelled, where the one bringing out vegetables, Årstiderne.com, they have the domain .com, so it's an architect company who has the .dk. I think they have a quite big bounce rate, because everybody types Årstiderne.dk, and then it's an architect, they want some vegetables. But the direct traffic is telling a lot about how well known your website is. And then keep it simple and just focus on the bounce rate again. Which traffic source has the highest bounce rate? and it's simple to see. It's the organic search. The average, now it's very small here, but the average for this website is 54. But the organic search actually has a bounce rate on 63%. So that's where you should start focusing and saying, okay, there's some problems here. What can we do to optimize the traffic from the organic source? And when you measure all the goals, you're also able to set this up in your analytics tool, no matter what tool it is. Maybe you have to need to do some extra coding or something, but you are able to get a good overview of the goals the user does on your website. So in that way you can see also the different traffic sources. Where does the good traffic come from? Where does the traffic which does not convert come from? Again, just focus on the goal you want to know something about and find out where's the lowest conversion rate for the different goals. These data are from the entrepreneurship domain amino.dk, Martin Thorborg, some of you might know him. And this goal is that the user actually participate in the dialogue in the forum. So again, the organic traffic has a low amount of people who actually participate on the site. When it comes to AdWords, you can see the very precisely how the return on investment are. This slide shows how much they have used on AdWords, and it shows at the same time how many money do they get from the visits who came from the AdWords you paid for. You can also see where the users actually starts on your website, so you know which landing pages you have to optimize. So I have a little quiz. So how many percentage do you think starts on the front page? Is it 25, 50, or 75? And before you say something, this is, of course, it's very different from website to website, but I've seen more than 500 different websites analytics data, and it's very often around the same. So how many do you think how many think that 25% of all visits starts on the front page? That was quite a lot, actually. How many think that half of all visits start on the front page? Yeah, and how many think that 75% starts? Okay, you're young. That's great, because it's normal to think that everybody starts on the front page. Oh, this is the only landing page. It's the front page. In a lot of companies, people just everybody wants their link on the front page. The human resource manager. Oh, I need a new guy for this job. Oh, let me have a link on the front page. But actually, the most common I see is there's around 50% starts on the front page. It's only half of the users starts there. So you have to think all pages as a landing page now. The more the website is organic optimized, the SEO optimization, the more actually starts in other pages. So you can do exactly the same again as we did with the traffic sources. Take a look at the different landing pages and look which has the highest bounce rate. It's that simple. That's what I do for money. That's very easy. So just go inside, see oops, which landing page has a high bounce rate here. And in this case, actually, it's 24% for amino.dk, only 24% interest on the front page. What normally is around 50. It's more normal. So there's a lot of things you can do to optimize the landing pages to let the user stay longer. And here's an American website I saw one day. They want to give you a little present. So and it is actually true. So we saw that 24% of Minus users started on the landing page, but of course more come back to see the front page because they go back to it again. So how many do you think see the front page in the visits? Now this is for Amino. Do you think it's 30%, 40, or 50%? So how many think 30% see the front page in the visit? That's a few. How many do you think? How many think that 40% see the front page? And how many thinks 50%? Yeah, that's more 15 and 14, 50. But actually, it's only 30% of all visits on Amino ever see the front page. So not even is the front page not the only landing page, but there's also you shouldn't be sure that the user ever see this front page. So if you have anything you want to say to the users, you have to communicate the right place. And you can use your web analytics to learn much more about where does the user start and which pages does they see. So if you're going to advertise, don't think I want to be on the front page. You have to think I want to be where my target group is. Yes, I have 5 minutes left, and that's fine. And I have some complementary tools because the first data you saw, it's quite boring actually. It's just how many saw this page, how many search that keyword, etc. But you can also do some bit more sexy analytic stuff, because a tool called ClickTail is actually ClickTail can track your mouse movements. And in that way, this is not a normal eye tracking. There are also equipment able to track where your eyes are watching. But this is based just on the mouse movement, and it fits. I mean, I think it's about 87% of the eye tracking. So you just implement this on your website, and then you get a heat map like this. It also other tools, also ClickTail actually, but other tools as well can track exactly where the users are clicking. This is a screenshot. It's the bottom from I'm playing in a show band, and we have these 5 pictures and a text below it. And I implemented this tool called Crazy Egg, showing where people are clicking. And the second picture is showing where they're clicking, and that's quite interesting because, as you see, the first picture has this play button in the middle of the picture, and the users are drawing attention to this and clicking here because that's obvious for them. They can click here, but it's just linked to the video page. It's not a video here. It's a small picture in the bottom of the web page, but still they're clicking there, not on the text. But when the pictures are very boring, they're clicking on the text instead. So click tools are great to know where people actually are clicking. Also, if they're clicking on the elements that are not clickable, as we see that quite a lot also. Actually, these pictures was not clickable, so we learned that. You can also track what is going on right now. There's a tool called Rubra, tracking what's going on your website right now. How many are, like this. How many are on your website now, and what are they doing? With Rubra, you can actually start a chat. You can see, oh, this user has seen this and this and this page. It's a potential customer, maybe, so I'm gonna contact him right away, ask him, do you need some help? You can do that with Rubra. And the news from Google Analytics is also this live tracking, knowing how many are on your website right now. So web analytics is a lot of things. So it's just important to use it in the right way. Then last, I just want to show a little about testing, because testing is about not thinking this is the best version. I want to maybe optimize the checkout flow, this basket page in my web shop, and instead of just making a new and implement that, you have to test it. And the way you do is that you send half the users to the first version and the other half of the users to the second version, and then you see which one performs best. It's very simple, and it's extremely effective if you do it right. And it does not only give you data on your decisions, but it also you also know if the new version you made actually performed worse. Then you should of course not use that in the future. And here's a little case I have borrowed from an American website. Here's the same page but in two different versions. You can see it has different kind of fields, different regarding the pictures to the left, and there's a picture to the right in the one version, and then there's this button also. So how many think that A performs the best? Oh, only one. Thank you for saying, even it's only you two. And how many think that B is the best version? In this case, it was I will not say it was pretty obvious, but there was a lot of you who was right. It actually made a very huge increase in the conversion for this web page just by testing this new design. But you cannot always guess. It looks very simple here. You guessed almost all of you the right version. But if you take 15 cases, the average is that only 7 to 10 is the right guess. So you should never guess. You should always test and have data on what you're doing. So summing up today about analytics, you should track your goals. You have to track and measure the most important things you want the users to do on your website. And then you should focus on the important metrics. There are so many reports and data when you log into a tool like this. So focus on few and the right reports. And the third point here is you have to do something also. Because if you just talk and you have no action, then it's just bullshit. Then you just waste a lot of your time analyzing, and you have used time on implementing the tool and maybe analyzing, but if you doesn't act on it, it doesn't matter at all. It doesn't give you any value. And then you should, of course, A/B test. A good way of A/B test is also to use all the data you have analyzed, and you learn that you have to do something here, but you're not sure of what to do. Then try to test different things and find out what actually worked the best. So that was all for me. That's my doorbell at home. So that's. Yeah.